Now at 6 and streaming on crossroadstoday.com, an Edna family questions whether justice is being served in their daughter's murder case.
DeWitt County deputies get help from Texas Rangers in a deadly stabbing case.
Plus, voices rose at Texas A&M's Academic Plaza. Why faculty and students say academic freedom is under pressure.
Well, we are waiting for the big cold front. It is up here in North Texas, already dropping temperatures and triggering shower activity along and ahead of it. It'll be rolling down to the crossroads, bringing us some stormy weather by tomorrow night. We'll have all that coming up.
And the Edna Cowboys are back in action this week for district play versus the Orange Grove Bulldogs. Give you the full game preview later on.
You're watching 25 News Now at 6. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shauna Curry.
And I'm Don Brubaker.
A 12-year-old is arrested accused of making a threat against Howell Middle School. Victoria County authorities responded this afternoon after a former Howell student, now enrolled in the DAEP program, made a claim about bringing a weapon to the school. Sheriff's deputies say the 12-year-old boy's threat was false. Officers located him off campus and conducted a thorough search. No weapon or device was found. The boy was arrested for making a false report to induce an emergency response and taken to the Juvenile Detention Center. A 19-year-old is behind bars after Victoria police say a hit-and-run crash left a motorcyclist seriously hurt. This happened Sunday night around 7 on Airline and Sam Houston. Investigators say a gold Chevy Trailblazer driven by Jesse Ray Jaden Ayala hit 50-year-old Brandon Wepler's motorcycle and then took off. Officers later found Ayala's SUV on Guadalupe Street and arrested him on several charges, including intoxication assault and accident involving serious bodily injury. Wepler was taken to a Victoria hospital, then flown out of town for more advanced care. Texas Rangers are helping investigate a stabbing death in Yorktown. DeWitt County Sheriff's deputies say 37-year-old Aaron Lee Sellers was found with 2 stab wounds at a home just before 1 Monday morning. The house belongs to a third party. Investigators say Sellers and the suspect, 27-year-old Santana Cruz Uresti, knew each other. Uresti is now charged with murder. Officials say more arrests could be coming.
Nearly 2 years after her 16-year-old daughter was killed, an Edna mother is speaking out. Jacqueline Medina says she was stunned to learn about the plea deal being offered to the man accused of her daughter's murder, calling it far too lenient. Medina says she expected justice, not what she sees as a light sentence from the Jackson County District Attorney's Office.
No way I'm okay or comfortable with this. There was a big mess on social media this morning, and there was comments made by the district attorney on a social page, which to me was unethical and surprising. And I will quote what he said. He said, "I work with the available resources to obtain what is the best outcome for the state. Would you agree to pay more taxes for capital defense and prosecution or forgo school or road improvements? We are talking several millions of local dollars from arrest to grave." That quote itself, what is that telling you?
In a video posted by family members, they claimed the plea was offered due to a lack of evidence for a capital murder conviction. We've reached out to the prosecutor in the case to get more details on the plea that's expected Thursday, and we have not heard back.
Feeding a stray dog in your neighborhood might feel like a simple act of kindness, but it could also leave you with more responsibility than you planned. Director of Victoria Animal Control Services Mark Sloat says if you let dogs roam your property, hang out under your house, especially if you feed them, you may be taking on legal responsibility for that animal without realizing it.
Once we allow that to continue to happen, we've taken ownership of those animals per Texas law, because you're now the keeper of those animals, or the caretaker of them. You're the responsible party.
If you decide to keep one of the dogs, Animal Control can issue citations for roaming, aggressive behavior, or missing vaccinations. Sloat says a typical ticket starts around $280. And if you spot a stray, he says don't approach it, call Animal Control and let them handle it. Here is your viewer poll tonight. Have you ever fed or tried to help a stray dog? 42% of you say yes, you have occasionally. 15% say on a regular basis you're helping to feed or help a stray dog in some way, and 30% say no, you never have. We want to hear from you. Visit crossroadstoday.com/vote, and we'll have another look at the numbers coming up on 25 News Now at 10.
Drivers know the frustration all too well. Potholes that jolt your car, drain your wallet, and slow your commute. We came across one trouble spot today at Azalea Street and Anaqua Avenue. Let us know what cracks and craters you are dealing with on your drive. Share your photos with us by emailing staff@crossroadstoday.com. More rain today, even more tomorrow and Thursday. Oh boy.
But after all of the rain, we have a treat in store.
Yeah. Yeah, I got you covered. Yes, the first real cold front, not cool front, fall front, how about that, is about to roll into our area. You can see how it's already triggering stormy weather up in North Texas. This is going to be dropping down into Austin by sunrise and then down into our area by tomorrow evening. The frontal passage will be bringing with it quite a bit of shower activity. We may see thunder showers. We may see some heavy rain here and there. So we'll be talking about that and what to expect and what time coming up, and then about the treat afterwards. All that coming up in a moment. Back to you.
Mike, thank you. An investigation is underway near San Antonio after 2 children were found dead in a hot car. A memorial is growing at far west Bexar County. Their mother is under arrest for serious injury to a child. The cause of death has not been confirmed, but temperatures were in the low 90s, and a car can heat to over 110 degrees within minutes. If heat related, those would be the 4th and 5th hot car deaths just in San Antonio this year, the only city in the country with more than one. The Texas Alcoholic Beverage Commission approved an emergency rule to ban liquor license holders from selling THC products to anyone under the age of 21. The emergency rule also requires retailers to verify IDs at the point of sale and only applies to those that also sell alcohol. The agency does not intend to begin enforcement until October 1st to give it enough time to relay the age limit to retailers. The rule states TABC license holders found to be violating the rule after October 1st will have their license revoked. At Texas A&M, tensions on campus are boiling over. Faculty and students say recent decisions by school leaders have put the university's values to the test.
Monday night, their response could be seen and heard right in the heart of campus. Lillian Kosh reports.
This was the scene Monday night on the Academic Plaza at Texas A&M University, a group raising their voices and signs in defense of academic freedom. The protest comes after a series of events this month that eventually led to the resignation of the university president, the firing of a professor, and the reassignment of other school leaders. Among those who spoke out, Dr. Leonard Bright.
Some of us have talked together and said we need to do this, and certainly given this week's the turmoil that went on this week, so it wasn't hard to convince many faculty members that we need to do this.
Bright says the university's decisions from the past week reflect a troubling pattern of political influence at Texas A&M.
A student, confronted one of our professors in her classroom who was simply doing her job. She was teaching something about, gender theories. That then ultimately led to her being dismissed by President Welsh.
Critics of Welsh and others feel Texas A&M isn't doing enough to distance itself and students from liberal teachings that include gender identity studies.
Every breath, academic freedom!
Graduate student Max Smith said he attended the protest to protect higher education in Texas. He and the rest of the group would like to see Welsh return and a firm commitment to academic freedom.
It's degrading to the credibility of this institution as a quality source of education and research. And as someone who desires to pursue a career in academia and higher education, it's really hard to see myself wanting to do that in this kind of environment.
While praising Charlie Kirk's commitment to free speech, Texas leaders moved to punish students celebrating his death. To read this full Texas Tribune article, come to crossroadstoday.com. And remember to subscribe to our Crossroads Today YouTube channel, hit the like button, and click the notification bell. Stay with us. Coming up on 25 News Now at 6, a jury has reached a verdict in a high-profile Florida trial. Why prosecutors say the suspect targeted President Trump.
Plus, health officials dispute President Trump's Tylenol claims.
A verdict has been reached in the trial of the man accused of trying to kill President Trump in Florida during the presidential campaign last year.
Jurors finding him guilty on all 5 counts, coming to a decision after 8 days of testimony from 41 witnesses. ABC's Christiane Cordero has more from Washington.
Today, a jury finding Ryan Ruth, the man accused of trying to kill President Trump, guilty. Ruth, who does not have any legal education or experience, represented himself at trial. Secret Service agent Robert Furcano testified at the trial about the day he says he spotted Ruth's AK-47 style weapon poking through the shrubbery while Trump was golfing last year in Florida. Furcano told jurors he fired his service weapon in the direction of the bushes where prosecutors say Ruth had been hiding.
The subject, who did not have line of sight to the former president, fled the scene. He did not fire or get off any shots at our agent.
Furcano testified he found Ruth's rifle and body armor at the location Ruth had used as his perch. The jury also heard from the man who said he spotted Ruth running away from the area and jumping into a car. Ruth called 3 witnesses, including 2 longtime friends, and was cut off multiple times during questioning by U.S. District Judge Eileen Cannon. Ruth argued prosecutors did not prove that he intended to harm Trump, saying prosecutors maybe proved that someone was outside the fence with a gun, but the gun was never fired. But prosecutors said the 59-year-old construction worker made 17 trips to scope out Trump International Golf Course in West Palm Beach, arguing there was no purpose for that trip other than to kill Donald Trump. Ruth declined to testify in his own defense. Christiane Cordero, ABC News, Washington.
Health officials worldwide are pushing back after President Trump warned pregnant women to avoid Tylenol, claiming a link to autism. He made the announcement Monday alongside Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr., urging women to, quote, fight like hell, unquote, not to take it. But experts say there's no new evidence to support that claim. The European Medicines Agency says studies show no connection between paracetamol, another name for Tylenol, and autism. They recommend pregnant women use the lowest effective dose for the shortest time. The World Health Organization also says the evidence remains inconsistent. World leaders gathered in New York this week for the United Nations General Assembly.
This year marks the 80th anniversary, and President Trump addressed the group this afternoon. Julia Benbrook reports from the UN.
This was President Donald Trump's first time addressing the United Nations General Assembly since he was reelected. And while his dynamic with some of the other world leaders has evolved since his first 4 years in office, some things have stayed the same. He weaved in and out of his campaign-style rhetoric, and at a conference focused on international issues, he really leaned in to his America First agenda.
But today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world. And there is no other country even close.
The president aired grievances throughout the speech, saying that he believes the UN isn't doing enough.
What is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous, tremendous potential. but it's not even coming close to living up to that potential.
Several ongoing conflicts loomed large over the conference, including Russia's ongoing war in Ukraine.
It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad. No matter what happens from here on out.
As attacks continue, Ukraine and its allies are focused on long-term security guarantees. Trump met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. When it comes to the war in Gaza and the humanitarian crisis there, the Trump administration has become increasingly isolated on the issue. More than 150 countries around the world have now formally recognized a Palestinian state, with some of America's closest allies, including Canada, Australia, France, and the United Kingdom, joining that list in recent days. While those countries have argued that the move will isolate Hamas, Trump has said he believes it's counterproductive. At the UN, I'm Julia Benbrook.
Trump posted on Truth Social following his speech saying he believes the remarks were very well received. In the post and in his speech, he complained the escalator had issues and the teleprompter was broken, but said in the end, he thinks it made his speech more interesting and it was an honor to give the talk.
The Transportation Department says it achieved its goal of hiring 2,000 air traffic controllers this year. The hiring blitz comes in response to the ongoing shortage of critical air safety workers at the FAA. The Department of Transportation previously announced plans to what they call supercharge the air traffic control workforce. That followed January's mid-air collision between an American Airlines regional jet and an Army Black Hawk helicopter. The accident near Washington left 67 people dead. How about the weather for flying the next few days, Mac?
Well, it's going to be very interesting, Don. We've got quite a bit of weather heading in our direction. Right now, we're clear, sunny skies and a high of 90 degrees. But you know, we got a pretty good little thunderstorm that came through the area earlier today. We managed to get up to 94, but our airport rain gauge came in with only 5/100ths. We may see 3 to 5 inches of rain within the next 2 days. We'll talk about that coming up after this. Well, we already have the weather alert flag up, folks. We've got timing here Wednesday night, that's tomorrow night, through Thursday morning. We expect the frontal system to come through with quite a bit of rain across the entire crossroads. What to expect, anywhere from 3 to 5 inches of rain possible, and wind gust 50 miles an hour, thunder, lightning, all that stuff that we usually get. On the other side of it, though, things are going to be very nice. I'll show you what we're talking about. Today's rain showers actually came up from the Gulf. This is triggered by heating, so this was not the main event. Main event is up here. Here's the frontal system, and you can see how just ahead of it, it's moving into the moist, humid air, and it's triggering the showers right there. You see right along the frontal system this afternoon. We're right about there, okay? So North Texas is getting a break It's in the 70s up in Amarillo, but this frontal system will be down through Austin by tomorrow morning and then through our area by tomorrow night. It's going to be bringing with it that line of showers. In fact, as it rolls into our much more humid air down here, it's going to trigger off quite a bit of activity. The storm center itself is moving in that direction, but the front should have the oomph, shall we say, that get all the way down to the valley. That's why behind the rain we've been looking for some very pleasant weather. Well, that was about noon today, and of course the big event is up here, and there you see northeast Texas. Well, there's Dallas right there, and then showers all the way down to Abilene, all the way down to San Angelo, all the way down even to Fort Stockton. So that is rolling into our very moist environment. Now, in a sense, a cold front is like a snow plow. It's low and heavy, and it's going under the moist air. So it's making the moist air rise. As a result, we get shower activity along the boundary. Now, here we are with excessive rainfall possible tomorrow. That would be on Wednesday, so we are very likely to see some significant rainfall coming in. Gabrielle is no longer a problem, but Humberto and Imelda are going to go so close to the East Coast. They're going to have to watch it very carefully. Thing is, our storm is going to be arriving at the same time. I don't know if it'll push them off or bring them on shore, but it's going to be very interesting for them over the next few days. Meanwhile, Narda on the Pacific coast is rolling out to sea. Should have been a good news, but look, it has a little turn right here, so it's going to fall apart in this area, and as you and I have seen before, then that moisture drifts into Texas. What will it have to do with our weather? We're going to watch that for you. You know, that's what I do. Anyway, for tomorrow, we're looking partly cloudy early in the morning in Port Lavaca. Not a bad looking morning, but by afternoon, shower activity will start rolling in from the north. Stormy weather for Wednesday night. That's the thunder and lightning thing. All right, Cuero, same thing. You've got half a day to get anything done. Certainly bring in whatever equipment, products, or cattle you don't want to be out there in the stormy weather, because by afternoon and certainly by evening, we're looking for that thunder shower activity to roll around here. So frontal system passes around midnight. Stormy weather early Thursday, but by Thursday noon, this starts to clear, so that'll be good. But we do have alert days up. And then we've got the very nice fall weather. Look at that. Down into the 60s at night, daytime sunny and mild, and low humidities will be very comfortable for the coming weekend. That's your 7-day forecast, reminding everybody we do have a QR code. Love for you to scan that. If you do, you could put Crossroads Today on your phone. Here's Shauna.
Now we send it over to Max Williams for a look at what's happening in volleyball.
That's right, Sean. We got a couple of top volleyball matchups we're going to look here across district play. I'm going to highlight just 2 matchups and a couple more that we're looking at here for tonight. All that coming up in sports. Crosswords are staying in that football spirit because, again, one team that's back in action after their bye week last week was the Edna Cowboys. And Edna, before their bye week they lost to Refugio 48-21. Their starting quarterback was out in Trevor Floyd, due out there to an injury, but he is projected to be back this Friday night for their district opener. They'll be on there on the road versus the Orange Grove Bulldogs. And the Bulldogs' first 3 opponents were going to be against Rockport, where they won 34-28 to beat Beeville Jones in week 2, 41-0, and then Foul Furious, they won their 49-7. Now, this could decide this game, believe it or not, for even just week 1 for both teams playing in district play, it could decide that outcome later on for the playoffs. Because again, Orange Grove was the number 4 team last year. London ended up being the number 3 team, and then Edna was right there at number 1 with Goliad at number 2. Again, all those teams in that kind of consideration going into the playoffs, starting off week 1 of district play. Now, speaking of for Refugio, they're also back there after their bye because they begin district play at home versus the Fremont Cowboys. And Refugio, they've already beaten Cotulla, London, Edna there in the first 3 weeks, and they look to stay undefeated through district. And the Bobcats offense has been electric with quarterback Ray Lewis and running back Xander Wills. Also, they also got good wide receivers as well. Michael Brown and Jonathan Matavo have been huge as well for the Bobcats this season. And now for their opponent in the Fremont, they're 3-1. They've had wins there over Monte Alto, Corpus Christi, John Paul, and Progresso, while they lost there to Agua Dulce Longhorns 54-0 there last week. So we'll see how this kind of contest goes in the week 5, especially for Refugio starting up district play. Now, speaking of Refugio, they're kind of mentioned in Dave Campbell's top 10 rankings here for this week, as they're the number 1 team in 2A Division I, with Ganado dropping only 1 spot in there, down to number 3 after their loss to the Tidehaven Tigers, who are at number 1 this week there in 3A Division II. For Shiner, moved up there to number 1 in 2A Division II, while Cuero remains the same at number 7 right now for a Division II. We're going to see how those rankings kind of change up. They're going through the rest of the way in week 5 action. Now, for all this football action on Tuesday night volleys, we're number 1 ranked Goliad Tigers there in 3A Division I. They begin district play tonight versus the Nixon Smiley Mustangs, and the Tigerettes are right now 27-3 overall. Their 2 offensive stars in Addison Yendry, Maven Wunsch have been electric this season, and also on the defensive side, Carolyn Youngblood has been huge there, leading the team in digs this season for Youngblood. So we're going to see if they get the big time win. They're currently playing right now, started about 20 minutes ago for that contest. Over to 3 Division I with the Edna Cowgirls battling the Tidehaven Tigerettes in volleyball action. The Cowgirls head in this game 5-17 overall, while Tidehaven heads in 10-16. Now, you're saying both of those records not overall great, but they're still kind of up there in district play. So they're hoping to get a big time district win overall for both teams. Again, remember, top 4 teams in each district. Currently right now it's Columba, Hallettsville, Yoakum, and Industrial, but you never know, that could change there going later on. For district, Victoria East, they're out there against Fort Bend Marshall tonight to face the Buffaloes, and East heads in at 12-20 overall. Marshall heads in at 12-2, and the Titans look for a big road victory there tonight. Victoria West is also out in the Houston area, where they're facing the Terry Rangers currently right now, when they're 26-6 overall, while Terry is 6-7 overall. Again, we're going to have give all the game highlights, all the final scores that you need to know for 25 News Now Sports at 10 p.m. And finally tonight, Texas and Victoria women's soccer, they get some big time honors from the Red River Athletic Conference. Goalkeeper Avery Fry winning Defensive Player of the Week with having 4 saves in their shutout victory versus Houston Tillotson. And also Offensive Star winning the Offensive Player of the Week there, Nalani Garcia. She had 2 goals, 2 assists for Houston Tillotson. So both the women's and men's soccer teams, they travel out to LSU Shreveport this Thursday afternoon, with the women's team starting at 1 o'clock, and the men's team will be right after at 3:30 p.m. And that's going to do it here in sports. Don, Shauna, back to you.
Max, thank you. And we're back in a moment. Hot dogs, get your free hot dogs. Well, maybe not if you're a Cowboys fan. Tonight, Bears quarterback Caleb Williams delivered big on Sunday, both on the field and for fans' appetites. The Wiener's Circle, the iconic Chicago hot dog stand, promised free hot dogs on Tuesday if Williams threw 4 touchdown passes against the Cowboys. Williams came through, leading the Bears to their first win of the season. Shortly after Williams' 4th touchdown, the restaurant teased the free hot dogs on social media. The Wiener's Circle promotion started this morning. Hot dogs will be free while supplies last, which probably was about 15 minutes after this video was shot.
Looks like everyone's braving some rain while they're waiting out there as well.
Yes.
So.
It's a little chilly too. Looking for the fine print here, you know.
Must be some good hot dogs.
In that kind of rain, the fine print will be washed away. Probably. It's like, oh my goodness. Now, are we going to get that rain, or are we getting rain from somewhere else?
We're getting rain from somewhere else, but it's going to be a good rain, and that comes in tomorrow night. So Wednesday night into Thursday morning, we have alert flags up, and you got to be ready for the frontal system. Pardon me. That will bring some stormy weather through our area. So we're talking thunder, lightning, and some gusty winds as the storms pass through the region. And then by Thursday evening, it should be clearing out, and that's going to give us a really nice fall weekend.
What do you?
Good.
Go ahead.
I was say good for Friday night football.
Oh,
Clear up by
excellent.
then.
This will be a good night.
What are the chances possibly for flooding the next 48 hours?
I think fairly low, but I'm going to say the following. On Thursday morning, if you're going to get up early, especially in the low water crossings, county roads that may be flooded, that's the peak of the storm, so be cautious early in the morning. Once the sun comes up, you can see what's going on a little bit better.
And the ground's so wet too. We've seen some of these rains where
it causes it. So we watch for it.
Takes a little while to drain off. So.
All right. Thanks for joining us.
We'll see you back here tonight at 10.